Hello, Sunday. It's actually 3:09 p.m., so we're about 9 minutes late. It's me, your host, Sam, with my other host, Matt Tyler.
Me.
That guy. So we are
This
officially
guy.
live. We are officially live. It is July 12th, 2020, and we are broadcasting. Actually, I'm in middle of smoking some ribs. And anybody in the Discord saw, I started that this morning around. Well, I started early because the first part of it's 3 hours. So I didn't want it to actually be during this block of time.
Yeah.
So I started like 11:30. So came off at 2:30. I've already there. It's on round 2. So it's in the smoker now for another 2 hours to do the sauce, and then I'm going to put them in for another hour. So it should be ready about 6 or so.
That sounds good.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I am really jealous of this stuff.
No, why is that? You have ribs. Because they have ribs in the UK.
Yeah, we do, but we don't generally smoke them in the garden for 2 hours and this, that, and the other. You know, we just chuck them in and eat them.
Yeah. So
you've got all this nice fancy way of doing it.
Aditya's in the house. Welcome, Aditya. So okay, now Aditya, you have a mission, sir. Matt is using the only phone he has, and so yes. What we need you. So Matt has a special request for Aditya here in the chat.
Mm-hmm. I forgot to charge the ROG, so it's upstairs. It's dead, and I can't share the stream. So Aditya, I need you to share the stream to Twitter and tag, Juan and TK and everyone, and then post it in the Discord as well.
Right.
If you wouldn't mind, sir.
If you could help the team out. Normally Matt is on that. Usually the first 2 minutes of the show, as everyone knows.
I made an amateur mistake.
But Matt made a little bit of a goof. So and now he doesn't have the G8X. It is now safely at home here in the US, and
36 hours, son.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. I know. I hate the fact that I didn't think it was going to make it. I thought, well, maybe in 2 days. You sent it on a Wednesday. I thought, Friday would be cool. Maybe Saturday. Nah, I don't really care. But watching how fast it left your house, got on a plane, and then got to Indianapolis, and got from Indianapolis to St. Louis, and then on a truck that morning, driven 40 minutes or 45 minutes out to St. Louis, where I'm at. It's nuts. All right, so Aditya's handling it. His phone's updating, so that's good. So Aditya will handle that. So
yeah, so I think FedEx I'll be using from now on.
Oh God, yeah.
Anything anyway.
I might even just use FedEx domestically. So
that's what I'd do. Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe when it showed up in my house at like 5:30. It was like bing bong. The truck drove up, and I was like, wow. It took literally. It left his house Wednesday morning. It arrived at my doorstep in the United States literally next day, and also maybe 36 hours, give or take an hour or two. That's crazy.
Yep.
So good.
2.5 months.
So yeah, not 2.5 months like the original send. So what were your impressions of the G8X? What did you think just overall?
I really enjoyed it. And having access to that quad DAC was something else. It's amazing how much of a difference I noticed using the wireless buds that I've got, or the dongles for the Oppo, and even the jack on the Sony. The G8X just blew them all out of the water with the Sennheisers that I've got.
Yeah.
And it's not just that. It's a really good phone. The only thing I don't like about the older LGs is the way they do the speakers. Like the boom box effect kind of thing. I don't like that.
Yeah. That's the speakers aren't as good as on the Pixel, but also I've had issues, and I still continue. And even since I've gotten it back and loaded it up and everything, I have always had issues with the fingerprint scanner. It's about 85%. And I've constantly. I mean, that's the only thing that the speakers are.
It's the worst fingerprint scanner I've used on the display one.
Yeah,
by far. Yeah,
all right.
It worked less than it actually worked. I probably hit it twice a day using it in the house. The GX, it just wasn't. The scanner wasn't very accurate.
I noticed it seems to be susceptible to like smudge and dirt. Like if you have something on your finger, and it's really precise. I mean, you have to hit it right on the spot.
I mean, no under display fingerprint scans is good, but
I don't know.
GX is noticeably worse.
I would say the one on the OnePlus was pretty good.
The OnePlus is all right, yeah, but again, it suffers from the same problem as all of them. It's not as accurate as the ones we used to have on the back.
Oh,
because it's just using a camera.
Yeah, the capacitive scanner on the back is pretty good. So, no, Dave's in the house. Welcome, Dave. Hey, yeah, no, we're talking about the G8X, not the G8, because the G8X actually had face unlock. And actually, I would go to a face unlock totally if I had the chance to. That's what I like about the Pixel. I just like the Soli. I just basically look at it and it's just like, boom. I mean, I just pick up the phone, boom. So if I'm in the phone, I don't have to touch it. I don't even have to. I just lift it up.
Yep.
And it automatically unlocks. It's really nice. And when I start using that, it's kind of like going back. So I'm still using the Pixel 4. The G8X is upstairs, kind of hanging out. So I'm kind of on the fence about keeping the Pixel 4. I should probably sell it and use the money, but I really like using it like a lot. The camera's great. I like the face unlock's good. And the bezel.
The Pixel's face unlock is really good. I really enjoyed that. Guys in the chat, if you get a chance, can you just share the stream on the Discord and on the Twitter? Because I can't do it.
Yeah,
I did not, like an amateur, charge the ROG, and it is upstairs.
Dead. So Vascos is in the house. We got Aditya, Vascos, and Dave in the live chat. So, and Aditya says he just tagged Juan and TK with a couple others and have posted links in the Discord. Okay,
thank you very much.
Thank you, I appreciate it, Aditya. So
you have taken my normal job and done it well.
Yeah. So
because apparently I can't operate chargers. Right.
So. If anybody's noticed, it's just me and Matt this week. We didn't have a guest lined up.
This guy.
That fuck.
Every time.
I know somebody else. I don't know if it was Trenton or somebody else did it. I think Zach. He did it the wrong way too. Which is funny because I'm so stupid. All I know is all I have to do is in my face, the fingers here. All I got to do is point. I just got to point the opposite way you are, and it's going to go every time. And yet I still do it the wrong way. So t-shirt check. What that for our guest?
I didn't realize I picked the same t-shirt.
It's the same t-shirt. So it's
the Avengers t-shirt again. Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't.
I've worn it all week.
I got this one.
I picked it.
Classically trained. It's got an original 8-bit Nintendo controller on it. So
classic.
Classically trained.
Just like the guy who wears it.
Yeah. Just old dude.
That's not what I meant. Old is not classic. Classic is good.
Classic is good. Old is just
old.
Not good. Old. It's just old.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he got to hear the great radio of the shirt discussion. Yeah, it doesn't really translate well.
Yeah, I've always said that. It doesn't bode well great for.
It makes terrible audio.
Terrible audio, but good video.
But yeah, and we thought we'd have it set up, but we don't. But hopefully next week there is an across the Pondcast with Sam and Matt. Whatever, go fuck yourself. This is across the Pondcast.
Across the Sam and Matt.
Across the Sam and
Podcast.
What the
fuck is that?
That's me. I'm tired.
Across the Pondcast with Sam and Matt is currently going through verification on YouTube, and we thought it'd be ready to go tonight, but it's not.
Yeah, well. To be perfectly in the
that's his fault.
The air of transparency. I tried to set it up just before the show because I thought it would just hook into like Twitch did, and it needed like a 24-hour. Across the Samcast. Across the Samcast with Pond and Matt.
That's great. That's great. I nearly choked on my drink. That's
the funny thing is we need to probably get some kind of tech word in here for search stuff. So maybe
across the Samcast with Pond and Matt talk tech.
Talk tech. Yeah.
Tech talk.
It's just a terrible. Yeah. So it's just been for
the YouTube channel we need to get some tech related word into the title to get it into the right categories.
So and Dave's helping out, so I appreciate that. He's going to be sending the links to some of his pals. And I know somebody in the Discord earlier, just before he went on, were saying that that they had they found another Across the Podcast on YouTube, but it's somebody else. So
there is a few, but that's why I named ours Across the Podcast with Sam and Matt. And even then, YouTube have buried it because I couldn't find it.
Oh, geez, I didn't even try to look for it. So
you won't find it.
You're not gonna. I'm not gonna.
I'm assuming we won't be able to find it until we've been verified.
Let's see.
Which, from what I've seen on YouTube, can't be that hard.
Yeah.
If we don't get verified, but a cat jumping off a roof onto a trampoline into a pool does, then I don't know.
Yeah, so there's Across the Podcast with Phil Circle and Dave Akari, and then there's another Across the Podcast with
there's a few.
An American and a Danish guy talk about stuff.
That's way across the pond.
Yeah, it's still across the pond. I don't know how you can be way across the pond. It's just across the pond. It's like just across. But yeah,
I'm just across. They're way over there.
Yeah, they're on the other side of the. Is there another pond?
The English Channel is between us and the mainland Europe.
And then, maybe like the North Sea if it's in Denmark. Maybe
I was going to say we're an island, so there is another sea between us and mainland Europe. So
right. So that's okay. Yeah, he's right. We got the lock on the UK American connection. So that's the best. That's the best one to go. So eventually,
we may have to rebrand the show at some point if we get flagged on YouTube for having the same name as everyone else or something. I don't know.
We'll have to do another. I hope not.
I think we should. Yeah, we should figure something out which keeps us in the right category. So we maybe need to wiggle some words around and stuff. So.
Yeah, we may be doing some word wiggling. So that is, I guess,
that's officially it. Wiggling.
Word wiggling. So that's our housekeeping segment. It's to steal it.
Ours is nowhere near as good as one's. Let's be honest.
No, our housekeeping segment. Well, usually
ours is shorter, but less effective.
Yeah, the APC with Sam and Matt, or the APC Tech Show with Sam and Matt, or something like that. We can acronym the name. Yeah, that'd be cool. That's a good idea. We can try that.
APC Tech Show with Sam and Matt. Tech Talk with Sam and Matt. Gadget Block. I don't know. We've got loads of time. It's not like we're in a rush to figure it out.
No, I was thinking of and Aditya came with activated protein C. I was coming up with more armored personnel carrier. Right across, and it's actually wouldn't it be ATP right across the podcast? ATP. So ATP with tech chat something. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. So that's
we'll get there.
Well, so basically that's where we are. So anyway, what is going on in the world? So we have, I guess, really Unpacked. Yeah, Samsung has an Unpacked event, and
we've got all the Nord leak. The video they shared on the Instagram, that Instagram page thing. They posted a video of somebody using the phone and then putting it in their pocket, so you got to see the front and the back. It's like they're not even trying to hide the phone.
Yeah,
and then we've also got the Galaxy Note 20 Plus Ultra Max, whatever it's going to be called, full video. Some dude called Jimmy Promo, I think, actually has the phone.
Yeah,
I will say one thing. The camera hump on the Note 20 Ultra is about half the thickness of the phone.
I haven't seen many of the.
Oh, dude, it's about half the thickness of the phone. It is ridiculous. It's massive. And I looked at it, I was like, what? I'd rather have a thicker phone and no camera hump like that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing, and this is just to a larger discussion about the camera modules in general. I don't really think it's a big deal because you're going to put a case on it anyway. And whatever case you're going to buy, and especially if it's a Samsung phone, you're going to get first party.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that it sticks out that far. The case is going to be an awkward shape or massive to fit the gap between the back glass and then the camera hump.
Yeah,
so it's going to be quite awkward. Like it is a really thick camera bump.
Yeah, and I agree. And I would go with a thicker device, a little bit more battery, and then make that.
Yeah, exactly. You get a thicker device, cover the camera on, but the good side of that is you get a bigger battery as well. So, because the case you're going to put on it is going to make the phone thick anyway. So,
Right.
just make the phone thicker and buy a later case. Done.
And then, Ross says, and then Dave's kind of like, it has something to do with the focal length probably, and maybe better cooling. Yeah. I just think, I don't know. I'd rather have a thicker phone than having a thinner phone. I don't care for that. And
No.
I don't care. And then, my better half is,
she's got exactly. And that Note 20 Ultra without a case, that camera is just going to break. It's the first point of impact. Even when you're just putting it down, the phone's going to sit like that and just rock about. It's just, I don't know. I prefer a phone without a big camera hump. The Oppo's got a big camera hump.
I just cannot imagine a scenario where anybody in 2020 would be rocking a case or rocking a phone without a case, especially like anything new. Now, if you have like an older phone, big deal. But if you're going to be spending, what, I don't even know. One thing I haven't heard is people trying to guess what the Note 20 MSRP is going to be. I guess the thing it's going to be, I guess there's depends on
$14.99.
I guess there's two different versions, right? There would be
for the Ultra, $14.99.
Ultra. So do you think the Ultra will get to 7 inches?
Yeah, well, it's got to. It's got no choice. The whole point of the Note is it's the biggest phone that Samsung make. The S20 Ultra is 6.9. So it's going to have to breach that 7-inch mark to make it the phone it should be. And especially with you having the Note 20, I don't know how they're doing it. I don't know if they're doing it like last year, the Note 20, the Note 20 Plus, or it's just the Note 20 and the Note 20 Ultra. But the Note 20 Ultra is going to have to be bigger than the S20 Ultra, which is already 6.9 inches. Yeah, now we're getting into stupid land. Yeah,
and Dave's like the top end will probably be like 1800. I guess I would assume the top end would probably, what do you think of a terabyte, right? 12 gigs RAM, a terabyte of storage.
I don't think they'll go a terabyte.
Boy, that'd be cool.
For 512, because I think the ROG 2 Ultimate Edition, which is 1 terabyte and fucking 12 gigabytes of RAM, I think it launched at like £1,000 last year. Because the ROG phones were quite cheap for what they were. But if Samsung make a 1 terabyte phone, it's going to be like top end of what, 1700 easy.
Yeah, I had DT making a comment about the Note 20, the regular, I guess the vanilla Note 20 being a shade like $900. Yeah, I could try to see them. No. Oh, I could try to see them try.
The standard Note 20 will be
1,100,
if not more.
Yeah, I think
it's got to beat the price of the S20s. So it's going to be, even the standard edition is going to be more than 1,000.
Yeah, I'd say probably like $1,099 for the Note 10, right at the entry level, Note 20. And probably the Ultra being like 13 or 14 at the minimum.
What was the S20 Ultra? $13.99, wasn't it? Was it
I don't know.
So it'll be more expensive than the S20 Ultra was when it launched.
Yeah. So Becky made a comment about the big green. She's referring to the 1520, and that's a 6-inch phone. And the funny thing is that phone, because there was so much bezel, that phone was about the size of, I think it's actually probably bigger. And Fat Produce Andrew would know because he does that little thing with the website that shows the physical size of the phones. I'm curious what the 1520 is as far as the size of it. But yeah, that was a big. Yeah, she's referring to
the big phones. Yeah,
she was referring to the big green Lumia in my hand.
He did it on Process last week, didn't he? Because of all the phones that me and you go through, it was interesting to see all the size differences. So the old Samsung Galaxy Mega and the Xperia Z Ultra were still bigger phones than the S20 Ultra now. Just because of the size of the bezels.
Yeah, and so yes, Aditya is correct. Yeah, she's referring to the Lumia. And then Dave says, I don't think they do care about it. I kind of guess I think they're with Apple Land. I think they can drive whatever price they want, and I think they're still going to get people to pay it. I don't think people really pay
attention. Of course they will. Because they'll just do what Apple do and lower the price of the S20 range slightly.
Yeah.
So either way, you're gonna go to them. So, well, not us because we're not stupid, but Samsung people do go back and forward all the time.
And Samsung does have a solid mid range. So, but the problem is when the people are putting out the carrier store, they're going to be going for the big boy. They're going to be going for the high end one.
Yeah,
and I think it depends on if there's a lot of people that skip the Note 10 and the Note 10 Plus.
Well, I don't know. Have you seen all the videos within the last 2 weeks of the Note 10 Plus being every YouTube creator's phone of choice? All of a sudden.
Yeah, I would say that there's probably some people hanging on to Note 8s and Note 9s. I think the Note 20 would probably be the proper.
Linus uses the Note 9.
Yeah, I like the Note 9. That's probably the last best Note, just because you had no notch, you had a headphone jack.
It was a nice Note. It was a nice Note, definitely.
Yeah. So I agree with this. This is a comment. I wish they should work. I would take 3 years. I would take three solid years.
The problem with Samsung, they won't, because they make so many phones a year. They'll only support them for a minimum amount of time, because they then make another band of phones the following year. And to support all them different sizes of phones, different chipsets, it's not possible for Samsung to keep on top of it. As much as you'd think it would be, they'll just make too many phones.
And then Dave makes a comment, but they should work. Yeah, I think they should. And Root Knight's in the house. Good. Hey, Root Knight, he was on time technically, but he had some stuff to do. So hey, no, work happens. It's cool, So hey, we appreciate you being here. And then Aditya apparently wants to fight. Apparently, because he said it was the proper Note. Fight me. I think if I agree, do I still have to fight him, or is that if you disagree?
No, if you disagree, but I think he's right, because it had the headphone jack, big battery, capacitive fingerprint scanner, good cameras, good screen, no notch, no hole punch.
No, I'm reading his comment.
Then the Note 10 came out, and if anybody says the Note 10 is a proper Note, it's just an idiot, because it's not.
Yeah,
it's just literally it's an S10.
His comment said Note 9 is and was the final proper Note. Fight me.
Yeah.
But he doesn't say
so if you said
he's saying just fight me. He wants to fight anyway.
He's saying if you say the Note 10 is the last proper one, he'll fight you, because he believes the Note 9 is the best.
I think even if you agree with him that the Note 9 is the last proper Note, I think Aditya would still want to fight you. That's what that.
But if he did, then he's got to come a long way to get to me, and then he's got to get through me to get to you, and it's even further. So
as long as if he uses FedEx, he'll get there quickly. If he tries to ship it UPS,
but let's be honest, try and find your fucking house is gonna be a lot harder than it's trying to find mine.
Well, yeah, it would be hard. It's pretty. It's not close. It's not exactly in what I would call an urban center. Not really. No.
Plenty of places to bury people.
Yeah, I guess if you're a psycho, yeah, okay. So and Ron's in the house. He's an incognito, but
careful, because Xiaomi will still send you data to China.
He put it in caps, so he's here. He wanted to let us know he's here, but he's not here. Right? He's here, but not here.
Okay, well, stop mentioning him then. He's not here.
Well, I'm saying, but I'm glad he's here. I'm glad he's.
But he's not here.
But I'm glad he's incognito. So. Yeah, and I guess, and so we can talk about the OnePlus Nord. I'm actually okay with it. I'm curious to see. What I guess I'm not okay with is these quote unquote links now.
See, Ronald, he's got an idea. Who says buried when you can cremate them?
Right, or if you got that whole idea, or if he's got the brick top. Just gotta beware of
the Nord. I think is going to be a very popular choice because of its price and the fact it doesn't really give up much compared to the OnePlus 8. Not the 8 Pro, the OnePlus 8. Mm-hmm. So I think it's going to be a good phone. It's going to be a popular one. And I'm looking forward to seeing what people think of it, because they'll be like, oh, it's not this, it's not that, it's not the same. So
TK's in the house. Welcome, TK.
Oh, TK's here, but for TK, we don't have any exclusives, not like you did yesterday with the Pixel 4a.
Yeah. We're not about sorting out the truth or digging for anything interesting. We're just here talking about ridiculous, stupid crap that we just yammer on about for an hour.
Well, we're just discussing the Nord. Just wondering how OnePlus where they're gonna market it, and how they're gonna push it. Well,
I guess the question is going to be: one, where's the Nord going to be for what market? Two, if it is North America, will they make it available in a carrier store?
I think it's no, it's not available in America. It's not coming out over there.
Right.
I think that it's going to be an interesting one on price. It's all going to be about how OnePlus price it.
Yeah.
If they price it too high, people are just going to be like, well, what's the point? It's this, and this. So they've got to be very careful. And they've set up an entire Instagram page for the Nord. So it's like they've separated that part of the company from the OnePlus 8s and the OnePlus 8 Pros. They're not marketing it on the same page, on their official page. They've set up a completely different page.
Yeah. I guess I have a problem with just this whole thing of, are we just going to basically have accidental leaks now? Are we actually?
It's not accidental.
I know
that's
what I'm saying. No, I'm not. I'm just saying. Let's cut the shit and just make it like just start announcing phones, because these I'm tired of these accidental leaks. I mean, I wish I could get back to a day where I didn't know nothing about a phone until it launched, like until an Unpacked event or whatever. It would be nice just to actually be surprised once. But I guess the tech enthusiasts and the community,
we live in a world of tech, so to get access to information about tech is always going to be there. It'll be nearly impossible for people to keep everything under wraps, with so many people working on so many projects and so many people trying to get in to people's information to get access to leaks and renders and emails and stuff. It will never happen again. We'll never have another phone come out that we don't know anything about at all.
Right. I mean, just think about it. You got, it gets leaked to reviewers, and they know that those reviewers have reach. So it's a controlled leak, right? We want to get the information out there, but we don't want to make it obvious that we just blew it up. So we're just going to go ahead and leak it to these 3 or 4 people, or 5 people, or 10 people, or whatever it is, who actually have traction on YouTube or Instagram or whatever. And I really just like the fact that for once, I would just want one of these launches, like OnePlus or Samsung or whatever, just to be like totally locked down.
Yeah. But it's all about the hype, though, isn't it? The more hype you build, the more attention you get. So right. But I guess phones, it's impossible. But look at Sony with the PlayStation 5. They kept that shit under wraps because all the renders and the leaked images, and it looked nothing like any of them. They did a really good job of keeping that one under wraps.
Yeah, and that's why I appreciate, because when you actually saw when
they unveiled that,
it was like, wow, that's totally cool. Yeah. Wow. And whether you liked it or not, it was at least something you had not seen. You could whatever your opinion was on the way the design of the hardware looked, at least it was totally like, wow, that was either wow, that looks cool, or holy cow, that looks terrible. Right? Either way, it was something new.
Exactly. But if Samsung, Apple, OnePlus don't leak their own stuff, leaks come from case manufacturers. They get that model to build the cases around way before the phone's released or announced. And a lot of the time, that's how stuff gets out. But now I think they're just leaking it themselves.
Yeah, I think I don't think it's because
they're like, well, it's going to leak anyway, so let's just leak it ourselves and accidentally post it on a website which we own, because that's they'd never ever do that.
Because what's the manufacturing time for a case, right? You'd figure if it's an iPhone, they already have. I mean, they can get that in the pipeline quick. I mean, they already know. They already have dies. They already have molds. They can already do the building of the cases. They would just need the technical specifications of. You don't need to have that ahead of time, 6 months ahead or even 3 months ahead. I think they could get that probably technical schematic probably 2 weeks ahead and turn the production on and probably kick it up. And maybe
a lot of the time, people inside the company as well that leak the shit.
Because companies need to build hype. This is coming from my wife.
That's what I just said.
I know this is coming from my wife, who doesn't really pay attention to this stuff. I guess
she's right.
My bullshit. Of course, she's right.
What I'm saying. It's all about the hype. The more hype you build, the more videos people make about the leaks that you're doing, the more attention you get. So when you actually have your event, more people are watching to see if it was all true, which we already know it is.
She's right, and on top of the fact she's my wife. So she's already right on top of actually making a correct statement. She's right and correct.
You need to be careful.
Yeah, I just was. That's why.
She's not like anybody else. She will come into that room and slap you around the back of the head.
Actually, that would make for great video.
Yes,
an audio
it would make great video for us.
Yeah,
but not for you.
But yeah, and Ronald's Samsung, they're leaking it on their own. Apple too.
Of course
Although, yeah, I mean, it's just.
Do you think a key companies secretive of Apple would ever let anything get out, apart from maybe Front Page Tech? Because Tim Cook's not happy about that. Front Page Tech leaking everything they keep because of the people that work inside the company.
Yeah, well,
they're not happy about that.
No, not but it's and when it comes to Apple, I think that's a different conversation altogether. Because I'm still going to stay on the topic that when it comes to Apple, all they have to do is just. Everybody knows a new iPhone's coming. Our group of iPhones are coming. There really isn't any reason to market. There isn't really any reason to advertise. There's enough traction in there. 55% of North Americans, right, are using an iPhone, so they could just release
videos before the phone comes out telling you not to buy this one and wait till next year. Every year.
And then and the TK makes a point. It's a cycle. Yeah, it's. I think that's just the world we exist now with tech because
it is.
I think tech enthusiasts are kind of driving this problem because we want the information, but so I think there's a lot more people who are wanting the information as opposed to like me, where I'd rather be surprised that every once in a while,
But the only leaks we don't get are the smaller companies, Realme and stuff like that. They're the ones we don't get because there's no hype needed for that. There's no one's going to get super hyped about a Realme device, so they're never leaked.
And I don't know what the solution is for that. I do like the Oppos and the Honors and the Realmes and the Poco phones. And I don't see them catching traction in the US because again, I think in order to catch US traction, I think you need to be in carrier stores. I think that's what OnePlus finally had to bend the knee on. They had to basically come to Verizon, come to, T-Mobile and say, hey, we need to get these phones available. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, in order to get into a carrier store in the US, you have to pay to play, right? There's that barrier of entry, and they're going to basically, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. Like Verizon making the OnePlus 8 just a bit different enough that the case doesn't work. You know what I mean? It's those little things.
Why do American networks do that to the phone? Why is there specific Verizon versions or AT&T versions make the phones different? It's like that's not what I wanted. I might be on Verizon, but I don't want a Verizon G8. I want a fucking normal one.
Right.
I don't get it.
I really don't I don't know for sure. So this would just be me guessing, but I think it was they like to have stuff that's different, right? So Verizon had the Droid phones before. You couldn't get Droid phones on AT&T.
Yeah, which is understandable because it was a limited phone to that company.
Right, and then even in the Windows Phone days, you had the Lumia Icon, which was only on Verizon, and there was no AT&T variant. They only had the 1520 and the 1020, and I believe they sold the 920 and the 640. So they had different variations of it, but only in the last 5 or so years have you seen unlocked versions. And I still don't think regular Americans who are buying phones really even understand that concept. They just go to their local carrier, whether Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint, Cricket, Boost, whatever, and they just buy whatever phone. I don't know. I don't understand why there has to be some different. I mean, the V35 was originally just a variant of. It was on AT&T really only. There was an unlocked version of it, but it was really just an AT&T version of the V30 or whatever, the G8. So I don't know. And Vazquez makes a point. I mean, he personally likes the leaks. There's an argument to be made for that, having leaks, because it gives you a heads up on the buying decision. It gives you time to research the phone. It makes you look at the event and see the specs, see the price, and kind of make a decision if you're in that market. But my question is, are you really in the market for upgrading a phone, or now are there phones available and then now it's pushing your driving to right because the phones are available and they're new? Are you really looking for a phone? Were you I need to look for a phone. I'm going to go ahead and wait the summer and see what comes out of here. Or is it more like, hey, the Nord's coming out. I've got a G7. Maybe, right? I guess that's my question is, are you really actually looking for a phone, or have companies figured out the golden key, right? We just keep launching phones and launching phones and launching phones, and that's just you deciding, I want something different. I want something, and we're guilty of it. We're about as bad because we like different phones all the time.
We're a unique pair. Like I've had probably every phone since the beginning of last year.
Oh yeah,
right up until now, as you know, and you are just as bad. We're not the usual people who are looking for buying phones to keep.
Right. And probably
So,
most of the people in the chat.
I wouldn't know.
Aren't.
Personally, we think we know what like normal people look for, but if I was just a normal person, like what would I be looking for? Just a phone. I don't know. Like, what do these companies think they're aiming their branding at?
Yeah, and then Jim makes a comment. They want, so they want some form of exclusivity, right? Of course, they want to different. That's just like anything, right? That's just basic marketing. You want to differentiate, and you can't really, so you force them to make a version of the phone that's for your exclusive to your carrier. Kind of think, I guess the counterpart would be a like an exclusive on like PlayStation, right? Or Xbox. Or you have, if you really want this game bad enough, you're going to have to get that competing console. And I'm curious how many people actually have a PlayStation and an Xbox of some variant, right? I'm saying like not the brand new Xbox, and the brand new PlayStation, maybe a PS3 and like an Xbox One, the original, like or Xbox 360 and a PS4 or an Xbox One X, right? When it comes out, or they'll be okay with rocking a PS3 just because they don't play PlayStation that much. I'm curious to see, but yeah, and Root's right. TV ads still hold a lot of power over certain age groups, especially older people. They're still used to seeing ads on TV. How many times have we gone to a movie theater and seen?
I'm just gonna have to jump out for a minute. Work's calling.
Okay,
sorry.
That's okay. So, we are terrible, and my wife already knows I'm terrible. That's why she's still married to me. Imagine that. Yeah, and like I said, Dave's got an Xbox 360 and a PS4, and TK's got 2 Xboxes and 1 PS3. So yeah, I'm curious if somebody has like a PS4, like the newest Xbox and the newest PlayStation. Like if somebody gets a PS5, or they're going to go out and get an Xbox One X, will they do both? I don't think so, because that's a lot of money to spend on hardware. But you might, and there are people that do it, and I know he's a PC only guy. He's not a console guy. So, and that's fine. And there's people who are both. Like I play games on console, and really the only game I play on PC is really the World of Warcraft. That's really the only game I play on PC. And Dave wants to get an Xbox. And maybe when the Xbox One X comes out, maybe Dave will look for picking up a used, like Xbox One S or an Xbox digital version. It's going to be kind of interesting to see kind of how that works out. So I'm partially into the, I like the leaks because, Vazikos made a good comment about he likes to see what's coming out for a purchasing decision. I think that's practical. However, I think at the end of the day, I don't think I think most people, there's just so much phone availability now, and that's a good thing. You always want more competition. You always want more phones in the market. But because of all these different phones coming out, I think it forces people to make a choice. Do you want to be like Dave, who likes to hold on to phones? Like he said, he's basically wants to hold on to phones for years, like 2 years. I've seen some people I work with who have phones for 3 years, 4 years. They're still rocking like an S6, right? An S5 active. I've seen that happen. And not necessarily older folks, people who are my age, maybe younger, 30s, 40s. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of with the Nord now, and then like this, the Note 20. I'm curious to see that, do the leaks necessarily translate to actual sales numbers? So all the hype that it generates and the discussions it has, and the SEO cycles and the YouTube and the reviewers and getting advanced copies and all these other things, does it actually really drive sales? Obviously, it doesn't detract from sales. But I guess my question would be, if they didn't leak the phone, so if they made the phone available, a new iPhone's coming, a new Pixel's coming, another Samsung S20's coming, or some variant of whatever they call it. and you didn't know anything about the phone literally until the day it got launched. Like you see the Unpacked event and you had no technical specs. It was like brand new to the whole world. Or leak it ahead of time so everybody gets traction. It's on videos, there's renders, everybody sees it. What is the difference between what the difference is, right? Does that actually drive sales numbers? Is it marketable? Is it trackable? Is there a metric there they say, okay, well, when we did the leak, we had 10% more sales. When we did no leaks, we had no increase in sales. I'm curious to see if companies have thought about that. It doesn't probably has a cost impact because leaking the phones costs them no money, right? And actually, if anything, it gives them free marketing and free advertising. But I'm curious to see like if anybody's actually taken it before the cycle started. Did they actually look at the phones? No leaks, totally cold, totally off grid, and then poof, how did sales go? As opposed to leaking the phone and having all specs out there. Everybody did their research, and boom. I'm curious to see if anybody's ever done research on that, at least from the company standpoint. Maybe other people have. I don't know. And Ron said, he doesn't have maybe minimum once a year, and that's probably what most people do. I think especially if you have a one up, like every year you have like a 12-month re-up cycle. I know AT&T offers like a where you can pay a little more money. I think it's $5 a month more, and you can upgrade every year. And Vazquez is still rocking an S7. No shame in that. If it works for you and it does what you want, cool. But Samsung is hoping with these Note 20s, right, or the S20s, that people like Vazquez would upgrade at some point. DT wants to try VR. Sony, yeah, I mean, you got HTC's doing the Vive thing, so that's pretty cool. I'm curious. That's a whole discussion for another show, but I'm curious to see like AR versus VR, augmented reality. I kind of like the HoloLens setup, but I've never really tried VR gaming. Maybe I should. I should give it a try. Who knows? Dave said, I think OnePlus is really good at marketing their product to feel exclusive. Yeah, I think so. I think just for the fact that not many people have a OnePlus in the wild. I think I've seen maybe a few walking through the stores, and I pay attention to what people are working out with. Yeah. And TK, Nord sold out the pre-sales that they had last week and this week. Yeah. So again, obviously the hype.
Hello.
Welcome back.
I'm so sorry about that.
That's okay. So obviously the hype's working. But my question, TK, was would they actually sell? Because the Nord people would know of it, would they sell it out anyway? And I'm curious, would they sell it a phone that was $1,000, or is it because the Nord is so aggressively priced on the lower end? Are they selling it because it's leaked and it's affordable or more affordable? The more affordable OnePlus, right? The Toyota Corolla versus the high-end Camry. Jesus Christ, are you okay? Holy shit, dude! You just like
yeah. I'm so sorry. I just had to readjust.
So and I think that's the driving force. And yeah, I agree. I mean, OnePlus's strategy is definitely unique for sure because it has to be. They have to be a little different. I mean, the Galaxy Z Fold is basically that. Yeah. So it's interesting to see. I was basically talking about the comment I was making was, I wonder if they if we leak it, how do those numbers translate to sales? Right.
They must do.
I have to. Well, I mean,
they must do. Otherwise they wouldn't continue to leak the devices. Right. There has to be a benefit to what they're doing for them to keep doing it. Otherwise they would have just gave up doing it and not waste their time.
Well, plus on top of it too, it costs no money to leak the information. There's no
exactly. R&D, there's no marketing costs or anything.
I guess why not do it, right? But I'm just curious to see if there's, I don't know. I'm curious to see if anybody's done that. And Jim makes a comment: phones are the best computing devices for the least amount of money. I get a bigger bang for the buck, just getting the best phone I can't afford. Yeah, I agree. I think I still think we haven't got to that point where people actually see them. Right, regular people, regular consumers see them as a computing device. I think that's still in the realm of tech enthusiasts like us. Mm-hmm. My buddy just bought a new Samsung. I guess he says a laptop, but it's like a Flexbooks. I don't know. I haven't been paying attention. He didn't tell me what it was, but he already has a Samsung phone. And I said, well, you just have DeX. You can just plug it in and it should connect, right? He was like, I got to get it set up. I'm like, well, I don't know if regular people really know about their phone being and having enough power to really being a computing solution for what they needed to do.
No.
I think that's still, we're still in that.
They know their phone can go on the internet, go on Facebook, post some pictures on Instagram and call them up. or not even call anymore. Tweet, text, WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger.
Yeah,
As long as the phones can do those things, I don't think most people care what power it's got.
Yeah, and I agree with Dave 100% on this. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody's in charge of leaking, and OnePlus has stuff they can leak. Yeah, there's probably somebody who's let's how we leak it, under what controlled conditions do we leak it, what do we leak, how, where, to what channels, to what marketing channels do we leak it to. Yeah, I think there's definitely a team of folks that manage that.
Well,
I think
whoever leaked the Pixel 3 XL, I think had pressed the wrong button.
And
that was like the most leaked phone in recent years.
And Mr. Dub, if you were in here, I didn't see it, so I apologize for overlooking you. But yeah, he still has a Note 9. Next month's 2 years. There's nothing wrong with that. The Note 9 is really great.
The Note 9 got Android 10, didn't it? It's not.
I think so.
Android 11. Yeah, that's good.
It may, but I doubt it. I don't think so. It would be good if it would, but I don't think it will.
A Note 9 on Android 10 is a good enough phone to keep for another year or so.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Especially if you're looking at a Note 10 as an upgrade, I don't think that's even makes any sense.
The only problem with Samsung phones is Samsung phones' batteries deteriorate really quickly. Like what you get in day one compared to what you get a few years later is in battery life is just massively different to most other phones.
Yeah, but I wonder. I
was watching a video on it last night. Most phones have about 75% capacity left after a couple of years.
But I guess you could probably take
Samsung's older phones up to the S9, a couple of years after using, and specifically the S7, had 35% capacity left.
Wow. I know somebody in the chat said they were using S7. I can't remember exactly who it was.
The S7 Edge was the main focus for this video. It was a couple of years down the line, and it only had 35% of its original capacity, like its strength. So you plug it in, charge it to 100, use it for literally an hour and a half, and you're plugging it back in again.
Wow. Yeah, and so yeah, no follow that, Mr. Dub. Yeah, I mean that's pretty good. And Ronald's they can comment. Yeah, actually you can get a laptop with more specs for less. Yeah, than the latest phone. Yeah, and you can now. And you have the Chromebook options. You have those kind of things. So I'm curious to see how that's going to look. And Root Night. I see tech companies want to be in the news cycle as much as possible, so leaking a phone and then confirming the leak means that you get media coverage. Yeah, I mean, I would say, and this is the only. I'm going to segue just to a real quick, and this is just for analogy purposes. It's not a political comment, but that's why. I mean, we now see that in the news every day. It's like I guess that makes it relevant. We're having the days when you didn't see the president in the news feed every single day. I wish we could get back to. I don't really mind hearing about him or hearing from him or her whenever that's going to happen, but I just don't want to see it every day. But your Roots Night, yeah. If Samsung's always in the media, right? If we're always talking about OnePlus, if we're always talking about Apple, right? It keeps that not a hype cycle, but it keeps it fresh in our mind. It keeps us on the front of our minds. So
hype cycle. It keeps the hype cycle alive.
Why would you know if it's a hype cycle? But it keeps it forefront. It's hype, but it's also when you're ready to pull the trigger, whether it's, hey, the new iPhone 12 came out. Well, I'm not going to get it at launch, but I'm ready to make a new phone. Or your phone croaks, right? The battery goes bad. Now I'm 3 months down the line, 4 months down the line. Oh, man, and we're still talking about Apple even after the 12 is launched. You may now switch, right? Or you may get that phone. Now the Note 20, now there's a buy one. Hey, guess what? AT&T is offering you buy a Samsung phone, you get a toaster or an Instapot or whatever you get, right? Or another TV or two TVs. Right. So I think there's some way common in that I think keeping it on your mind in the cycle is the whole point of marketing, right? Mm-hmm. Keep you talking about it, keep it being in the discussion.
Oh, TCL nailed it. Yeah, free 42-inch 4K smart TV when you buy the TCL 10 Pro. That phone's £399. And you get a free 42-inch 4K TV.
Now, he's a doctor in training. Is that
so?
Are you having a stroke?
No.
You sure?
Maybe. Well, maybe I was when I was trying to put my headset back on.
Yeah, maybe that's what we were trying to do because it looked like
no. I'm on. The thing is, I'm on call and I'm not normally on call. So that's what that was all about.
And I agree with Ronald here too. I never trust a battery more than 3 years. I don't know how you could. mean, well, think about it. If you charge your phone every day, let's just say you charge it every day, that's 356 cycles of charging, right? And then 2 years and you're now at what, 700 plus charging cycles? How many charging cycles do you think a phone's rated for before a battery starts to really...
Lithium-ion batteries aren't rated for that many.
Like 500 probably?
Yeah.
500. Well, you realize...
Before you start seeing noticeable deterioration, probably about after 500.
Well, also, we're not talking about full cycles, right? Because some people just like do what I do. Like what I do is I top up. I'm at 60. I just pop it on real quick, 20 minutes, and get to 80 or 90.
I don't do that.
You don't? I do I do little mini charges all day.
If my phone's on, I charge when my phone hits 15%. You're not supposed to let your phone die, are you? I charge it on 50 when it's on 15%. I don't use the Oppo's fast charger unless it's an emergency. I have a RAV charger by the bed, which I use to charge the phone overnight, and the Oppo's got options in the settings. And I don't tend to use the 65-watt charger unless either I've forgotten to charge overnight or I've used the phone more than I normally would, and it's an emergency. And I need literally the fastest charging I've ever seen in my entire life. You can sit there and watch it go up.
My question is, did you realize
crazy?
Did you realize you said 65-watt charging and you didn't even blink? Like you said, it was like a thing. Like it's a thing. Do you realize how crazy that is?
I live with it.
I know it's a thing, but you have to understand it's not a thing that's available to everybody else. It's not.
But I say it like that because I live with a 65-watt charger for
right. I'm
the
saying
Oppo.
Right, but that's super. It's a super VOOC. Is that what that is? Is that super VOOC?
Yeah, I think it's called that.
That's what it's called, right? Oppo has a super VOOC. Is that what they call it? Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is, you said 65-watt charger as if that wasn't like an amazing thing.
It was incredible.
It's unreal.
You're right. So I have 15% on my phone. I plugged that charger in. I don't know, go for a coffee, come back. It's above 50%. It's insane. Like I can't even say how. Like you could literally you plug it in on 15% and just stay there for a couple of minutes, and you will watch it go up about 10%. Just in a couple of minutes, you just sit there watching it go up. It's crazy fast, and it's scary fast. I don't like that fact that my battery is charging that fast.
Yeah,
whether it's two batteries and it's 35, it's like 32 something per battery charging speed, but that is still not good for the battery. And
Aditya was just joking, but the problem is when the jokes come from Aditya and he makes a comment about Matt stroking out. I know he was joking.
Have a stroke. I'm good.
Well, that's debatable.
I'm good.
Okay, but yeah, and Root's right. That's like laptop charger. It's like 65 watts. It's crazy.
But you're with a laptop, you're charging like a
larger cell,
70-watt-hour battery. Like,
yeah, it's just
you're not charging like a little phone batteries. 2 little phone batteries in the back of my phone are charging at the speed of light. It's not good. If you had an Oppo and you used it, the 65-watt charger, every single day to charge overnight, to charge in the day, your battery would have killed itself within 2 years.
Well, and here's the thing: if you have an Android phone, you're probably getting rid of it in 2 years anyway. It makes it bad for the
Oppo charger overnight is just gonna. They haven't Oppo, the amount of safety stuff they've got in the phone and charging speeds and stuff. They don't have what Sony have, where it says stop charging it. It stops charging at a certain percentage and then starts trickling before you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever time you set it to. It just charges all night at 65 watt.
Yeah, I like that adaptive charging. I think Sony's got a real. I wish more companies would have that.
Yeah, Sony phones don't charge the fastest, but their battery care is next to none.
Right.
That's why that Z2 that's upstairs, that Sony Xperia Z2 from 2014 or whenever it was, it's probably a lot older than that. The battery still lasts on that phone.
Yeah. And Ron,
it was a used like Kirsten, she used it every single day for about 2 years solid.
Yeah.
And it still works. And it still runs perfectly fine now. And the battery still lasts quite well.
Yeah, Ron's service book is 127 watts. That's a lot. I mean, that's just saying that's 65 watts as you're starting to get into like a laptop charging. So then obviously the cells are bigger. So that I get it. Just struck me when you just said it's like 65 watt charging. You said it as if it was like 18 or 20 or 30 watt charging, right? So it was kind of funny. You just kind of said it. You didn't
65 watt charger into my phone, and it charges in 38 minutes from 0 to 100%.
Right. It's just crazy.
38 minutes from 0 to 100.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then Ron's making the S20 stops charging after 100% full. Well, that's good. I mean, yeah, that's supposed to. But I would just
Sony has the best.
Yeah, the charging.
When it comes to battery care, battery protection, charging speeds, they have the trickle charge. So when you're charging overnight, you can set your timers or whatever, and it will stop charging at a certain point and then trickle you to 100% as to not overheat the battery. It's really, really good stuff, and I don't know why more people don't do that.
Yeah, and
or at least have the option. I mean, if you don't want to turn it on and you want to kill your battery in a year, then fine, do that. Like Samsung let us have QHD and 120Hz, but like if you want to kill the battery after a year and keep fast charging on all the time, fine. But for people like us, give us a little option that lets us turn it on and off. Samsung's introduced one. Now they have you can turn off fast charging and things like that, but no one is close to what Sony do.
Right, and I like TK's comment. Love how Sony actually does think about, and they think about the longevity of their device.
Yeah, because they know people are going to keep a phone and they're going to use it 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. People that if you buy a OnePlus 8 Pro this year, brand new this year, most people will look at it in 2 years and go, I don't even need to upgrade. This is still good. And then keep it another 2.
Yeah, and I would say
Sony does the right thing. Also,
even with their software, they do support their software and they get patches pretty quickly, and Sony is pretty good. I mean, from a software and hardware standpoint, I don't understand why Sony doesn't have more popularity. I just can't. Maybe it's just I don't get it. I don't get it.
Their mobile division has never been popular, though, has it? Never.
I don't understand.
There was talks
They're
after
really good phones.
Z ranges come to an end that they were just going to discontinue the phone line altogether. But then they came back with the XZs. But they've never, ever, ever been a mainstream super popular phone since probably Walkmans.
Yeah.
When they were super popular, the Walkmans were super popular, the Vios, and like the old ones.
Right.
But then they sort of trickled to a point, and then they've just been in that point ever since.
Yeah. Yeah, Dave's comments like fast charging is cool, but it will kill your battery unless we get new battery tech. You're right, I agree. And then like Root 30 watt charging is already a lot. I mean, some years 15 was the fast charging. Yeah, right. I mean, I remember if you had fast charge was like 15 watts, you're like, ooh, and ask any Apple person if they got the included.
That charged in an hour and 40 minutes. That was well fast.
Right. And then anybody's got an original Apple wall brick. What's 5 watt is the standard little brick.
TK's in the chat. I can't remember what companies just announced new charging tech that they're claiming. It's a mainstream company. They're claiming you can charge your phone from 0 to 100 in a few minutes. I think it's like something stupid like 120 watt charging or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I saw the tweet on Twitter, obviously. I saw the tweet on Facebook.
Oh God!
I saw it on Twitter, and I don't know if I shared it or not. I was meant to, but it was ridiculously fast. But it wasn't from one of these companies you've never heard of claiming to have this tech and never actually show it off. It was from an actual mainstream phone company.
Yeah, he says he can't recall, but I'm sure he'll look into it.
It was Oppo.
It probably is.
I'm pretty sure it was Oppo that had,
or Vivo,
Oppo or Vivo. It was one of the, like the non-main heavy hitters.
Right. And Dave's making his comment about it. If you make a phone that works great for 3 years and support it for 3 years, I mean, I agree. I think, especially if it's a phone you really like I would love to have And that's one of the main frustrations with that U12. It's really not that old of a phone, and yet it still has a July software patch. For what reason, I don't know. It shouldn't. And and so if companies would really do what Pixel has done, which is really support, a good solid 2 or 3 years. Really 3 years. I think 36 months of support, or at least security patches. Maybe you can get 2 updates, right? Yeah. That would be awesome, I think. But I think the whole point is companies don't want people to hold on to their phones. They want you to upgrade.
No, I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that. I think the genuine reason for software support on Android is the vast amount of phones there is. Apple can support phones for 6 years because they only make 2 phones a year up until last year.
Right.
And it's their software, their chipsets, their everything. So they can support phones for longer. Whereas Android, Google can't support a phone in every single category, like size, skin, what version it's running, whether it's Go, Android 10, Android 9. They can't. There's too many Android phones on the market for Google to keep them all up to date for more than 2 years, because the amount of phones that pile up in them 2 years, it's impossible to cover the full range of phones and different sizes, different skins, shapes, curves, hole punches, notches, folds. There's too many different versions to support, whereas Apple just have the one, so they can do it for as long as they want.
Yeah. But just the sheer volume of Android phones that are hitting the market.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think there's I think that's probably 90% of it. And I think there's also, we want to have the newest, greatest one. So you need a new phone. And they try to convince you that you don't, like people who are rocking a Note 9 and they came out with the Note 10, Samsung tells you have to upgrade to this Note 10. And everybody's rocking Note 9 goes, no, I don't think so.
They know now. They know. That's why a lot of these companies like Apple have moved to subscription-based services, because they know they're not going to make their money from their phones anymore.
Yeah.
Because people are going to keep these 11s and 10s and 10Rs, and they're going to keep them for years. Because the software with Apple, the hardware is going to last, because there's nothing wrong with the hardware at all. The software with Apple, 6 years. They know they're not going to grab you out of that. So they're just going to charge you for all the stuff that's on your phone instead.
Yeah.
Shitty move, but it makes sense.
Yeah. I agree. And so, yeah, and Dave agrees with you, which is fine. I agree with you too. So it's cool. So Dave's, yeah. And he thinks issues that the hardware longevity isn't taken into account because Android feels like innovation is the primary driving force behind the operating system. Yeah. Yeah. I think if you're on the Android side of the fence, you're going to expect 2 years, 3 years, right? Maybe if you're on a Pixel, you might get 3. But if you're on the Android side of the fence, because of the hardware and software variations and all these different OEMs and everything, I think you can't really realistically expect more than 2 years. And by that time, I think most Android users are probably so accustomed and kind of conditioned that they're really looking for a new phone anyway. And they're probably ready to upgrade to a better camera system. Because, I would say arguably that the camera between the OnePlus 6T versus the OnePlus 8 Pro is not even close.
OnePlus gave Android 10 to the 5 and 5T. See, yeah, I can see it because certain companies could probably get away with it because they run basically stock Android with no complications or anything like that.
Yeah, if you run stock Android, it's easier, I think.
So if OnePlus made a little deal with Google saying, we'll give you X amount, you support our phone for a bit longer, we don't know. We'll never know what goes on in the background.
Yes. This is the best comment of the day, and it came from Ronald. I want Windows Phone. God, yes, I do too. I'm never going to let it go. I realize
you are never going to let that go.
No, hell no. I'm not going to let it go because, again, it's one of those things where there's a lot of people who use, I'm not talking Windows Phone users, not people who just had it for a couple of weeks or a couple of months and used it. And did you notice that most of the people we have on, none of them are really like, yeah, I used to rock Windows Phone hard back in the day, like 2 or 3 years of like 900s, 920s,
Because
930s.
everyone's as crazy as you.
Yeah, well, the problem is it's when it came to straight usability of an OS, I still to this day cannot find a better for me, from my experience, and I'll argue it to the day is long. I'll debate it with anybody, that the functional usability of the operating system and the ability to have it customizable, but also still have, Microsoft owned it all, so they could. It was like the best of both worlds, right? You had the lock in like Apple does, right? Hardware and software, but also you had the software flexibility of Android. To me, and again, like I said, it's a shame, because even look at Windows 10 now, even on the Windows 10 desktop, there's still development challenges with just operating stuff on Windows 10. It sucks, and I don't know what else to do. But yeah, Windows Phone, Windows Mobile, back in the day when you had 8.1, you had the People Hub, and you had, all these,
you make it worse for yourself reminiscing all the time, right?
I know. Well, I don't care. It's partly nostalgia, but I think there's really legitimate, like, that's why I thought it was so funny seeing iOS 14 and seeing the stuff on iOS 14 and going, yeah, that's cool. But I don't know. I'm never going to let it go.
Ooh, I tell you what, if Apple add more widgets like that, make it look a bit more like Windows Phone, your next phone's going to be an iPhone.
Yeah, Apple agrees with you. That's why they're keeping their Apple widget design off. Yeah. Windows Mobile could run on your grandmother's old toast. That was another thing. It ran on really low hardware, right? Didn't need killer hardware. It could run a gig of RAM, 2 gigs of RAM.
It wouldn't work now like that, though.
No, of course not.
Nowadays, it would require too much. Like, if iPhones do end up looking more and more like Windows phones with the widgets and the live tiles and stuff like that, I can genuinely see you looking at an iPhone and going, Like, now you look at an iPhone and go, nah. But if they get more and more like that, I guarantee you'll be like, huh.
Yeah, I would tell you that the 3 main impediments to iOS for me are USB-C charging,
which will never happen. They'll go portless before they give in to that.
So if it goes to USB-C, if they actually had pretty close to what Live Tiles functionality would be, and I think
that's it.
No, I just a little bit more customization.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact there was the massive notch, the lack of customization, and the Lightning port. That's it. Everything else, the hardware and everything on an iPhone is solid. It's a good phone. It's just I don't like iOS as an operating system because I like to customize my phones and home screens and stuff. That's just me, though. That's my personal preference.
We'll see. I can't say that I wouldn't ever go back to an iPhone or using an iPhone, but those would be the major impediments for me. I think that would be.
Yeah, Lightning port is the one massive pain in the arse when you're running like me. Like when I was rocking 2 phones, I had the iPhone 11 Pro Max and an Android phone, and having to remember not only the dongle and the charger for my Android phone, I have to remember the dongle and the charger for the iPhone.
Yeah.
If you want to use wired headphones. So you got to carry around 2 cables, 2 dongles. It's like, no. Just no. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, and Bruce, he hates the fact that it's bad resource management. I feel that someone could port any Linux distro to a phone, it would run better. I would agree. I would agree. I mean, I think that's, there are inherent limitations to both operating systems, right? iOS does this well, doesn't do this well. Android does this well.
iOS has better apps.
Oh, yeah.
Because the developers can make their apps better for iPhone because there's only 2 phones to make the app better for. Whereas we, as Android users, get one generic app because there's so many. Same reason we don't get less support for years is because there's so many different variations, sizes, skins of phones. They can't make them for everyone. So iOS does have the better apps. They're more seamless and they're a lot more usable and user friendly when it comes to sharing stuff. Yeah, I like how how Apple's ecosystem works. I love that shit.
Yeah,
I love how everything is so seamless.
AirDrop is
Switching
awesome.
between all your stuff, just with not even thinking about it.
Dude, AirDrop
It's
is awesome.
ridiculous.
AirDrop is awesome. It's just awesome. I'm like, God, it just works, man. And that's, again, who knows?
Huawei's ecosystems are becoming a lot like Apple's.
Yeah, but as long as
seamlessness. Issa does tech. She's got a Huawei laptop.
Yeah, I saw
the P40 Pro, and how she was doing backwards and forwards between the laptops and the phones, and how easy it was to.
But as long as Huawei band's in place, it's not.
Exactly.
As long as
Huawei, because Huawei hardware and software is fucking solid.
Right, but as long
as the language,
that's okay.
But it is solid. It really is. It's just such a shame, because that's the only real option as Android users. We've got to have that seamlessness, because there isn't really, like, Samsung's phones and laptops and stuff don't flow like Huawei's and Apple's do.
No,
and no other. I can't think off the top of my head of any other manufacturer that has the seamlessness of those two companies. But if we want it, we have to go iPhone and Apple, because most people wouldn't use Huawei at the minute, unless you lot vote out Trump. Then we don't know what'll happen after that. Huawei might get taken off the blacklist.
Yeah. And then Vasquez makes a comment. Windows phones couldn't go landscape and home screen, couldn't make folders in a list of apps. Windows 95 could do it. In the beginning, File Manager wasn't on. Yeah. I mean, again, we could sit there all day, and Windows Phone versus Symbian versus Palm.
You'll never win.
Well, you could. I mean, but the problem is it's an agreement statement. It's like, I'm not going to defend that. There were things you couldn't do on a Windows phone.
Of course.
And you
That's
will.
the same with everything. Just there's flaws and stuff you can't do. It doesn't mean you can't love it.
Yeah. So great conversation about charge, now quality of device. Let's go. Well, guess what? We're going to maybe have to revisit that, because we are at that 1 hour and 11 minute mark. And we really have
the new time for the show.
Right. And we also have to talk about our sponsor, because we don't ever do that. And actually we're
supposed to do that at the beginning of the show.
Well, we can do it anytime, because it's just us. So what we're trying to do
when we have guests, we have to do it at the beginning of the show.
Right.
So as to not interrupt the flow of the show.
Right. So that's what we're going to do. So we're going to talk about extreme skins. If you're not a person who uses a skin, I would highly recommend them. They are great.
Where's the thing? Have we got the thing?
I think I got to change the thing. Hold on. God dang it.
So there's the thing.
There's the thing. So I got the website up, and I've got the Extreme Skins logo. So yeah, check them out. If I know there's a lot of people, I know there's other brands that have, D brand, and you got Slick Wraps, but I actually have used Extreme Skins. I've ordered them, and being in the United States, they're not exactly down the street, but they get it to you pretty quick, and they're really, really good. I still have it on my Note 10. I'm really excited about that. I'm actually looking at maybe getting one for the Pixel. And they do sell in the US, Dave.
Hey, the Pixel one's really good. I got the orange one on the Pixel because I had the white one.
Dave,
the white Pixel.
It was great. They do sell in the US.
Yeah,
so
they do sell in the US. And they are half the price easily of D brand and Slick Wraps and other ones, but the quality is exactly the same. It's on par perfectly. And if you are looking, there's a link pinned to the top of my Twitter page and to the top of the Across the Pondcast Twitter page, where you can save yourself 15%.
Yeah, get yourself a little.
Yeah, automatically. It automatically applies when you click the link. Takes you straight to the website, do your shopping, go to checkout, and it takes the 15% off automatically.
Yeah, and check it out. Like I said, if you're I love these skins and these wraps and everything. I think it's great. But at the end of the day, you have options, but give them a try. And like I said, and I know they have our link, and then they do have random. I think it's on like Tuesdays or Wednesdays.
Yeah,
they'll have like a buy one, get one.
Buy one, get one freeze on Wednesdays. No, 2 for Tuesdays, and then they have the 15% offs on Mondays, and they have various offers on throughout the week, and then they have holiday offers as well, where you can save a bit more.
Yes. So check them out. The links in the links and the Twitter page. You go to Matt's page and go to Across the Podcast and check them out. And if you're looking at getting skins, they have iPhone skins, stuff for laptops. They've got stuff for game consoles. Give them a try. And
OnePlus and exclusive. They are doing skins for the Oppo Find X2 Pro
There
coming
you
soon, which I am really excited about because I have not been able to find a very good case, which again, the one I've ordered off AliExpress, we'll see. It's just the best one I've seen that I could buy. But I am super excited that the fact that they are now going to be covering the Oppo Find X2 Pro and more to come. So we'll look forward to that.
So we have this is a name I not recognize, Large Banana 1, which is a great name, by the way. He says Windows Phone was so good, and I agree. And then he also makes a comment about Windows Phone. Basically, it was great until Satya came in. I agree, but Satya had a different vision for what Windows Phone was. It's Windows as a service. So that's a topic we need to get into sometime. I really do miss Windows Phone. I do miss it. Like I said, I really like using it.
We can do a whole, if you want to like discuss all that, we could do a little section in a show when it's just us again.
Yeah, so it's cool. So we check them out. Extreme Skins, great quality stuff. And even if you're in the United States, you'll get it. It may take a couple extra days just because they got to ship it internationally, but
unless they use FedEx,
right? And it's well worth it. I mean, honestly, I bought a couple of skins from them, and I've been really, honestly, pretty happy with them. They do
I'm just waiting for them to do the Oppo.
Yeah,
I'll be getting one as soon as they do.
So
for sure.
So that's it. So we're hoping to have, like I said, next week we'll have the YouTube stream go. I'm still going to post this onto the YouTube page.
Yes.
I'm going to upload it. Hopefully at some point I'm working on getting some music for the show, as far as like lead-in music, not during the show, but like lead-in music, because it was suggested that we make it a little bit more nice to have a little bit of a lead-in. So I've got a buddy who's working on some stuff, and maybe we can get that done. And then next week, please, everybody, if you're in the chat, bookmark your calendars. We're really excited. We're actually having we always have great guests, so let's qualify that. I mean, we had Trent Marshall and TK and Juan and all sorts of other great. Viper was on the show. Zach was on the show, and that was a fantastic show. We've had Jason
Andrew
Lewis. Yeah,
Jason
Andrew.
Lewis.
So
and next week is the big one.
I think this is one that I think everybody's going to really enjoy. We're going to have
this
Joshua
is the one
Vergara.
that most people are going to have questions for, I think.
Yeah, and we're going to definitely we're going to have Joshua Vergara on. So I can't believe that anybody currently in this chat wouldn't know who he is. And if you don't, check him out beforehand, but we're going to enjoy that.
And check out the video he's just posted. They've just posted on Pocket now. It's an After the Buzz video for the Pixel 3a. I watched it earlier. Before I watched it before I came on. It was really good video.
Yeah, so we're super excited about that. We're going to have Josh on. So please, and what I'd like to do is, I'm going to be in full disclosure with the group. We're not great at kind of like talking to the guests and then like engaging the chat like we are today. So we're trying to. I'm trying to work on that. Remember, this is organic learning for us, and we really appreciate your guys' input and feedback, even if it's constructive or even negative. I'm okay.
Anybody who does a live stream, like TK can contest it. It's when you have a guest on, you've got a guest on to talk to them and try and balance it. But when your guest is talking, you can't cut them off to read the chat, and it's hard to try and find the balance between keeping the chat and the guys you normally speak to interactive with the chat, with the show, and also not ruining the flow of what the guest is talking about or what they've got to say and stuff. So it's hard, and we will find a balance. But if we don't get to comments or anything like that when we've got guests on, we do appreciate you being there. We just can't always get to everything.
Right. And so I just, as always, and I keep saying this, I know it's kind of shticky, and I realize it's kind of, but I really do appreciate anybody taking their time and spending an hour with us on a Sunday and coming in here and listening to our ish and listening to our stream and our podcast and downloading it, listening it to after the fact. I really do appreciate that. And me and Matt both really thrive on that kind of thing. That's why we do it. We do it just because we would normally talk, but talking in just by ourselves isn't as fun. I love the interaction. Like today, me and Vazikos and Dave and the DT and TK and Large Banana and Ronald and Rossfed.
It's the coolest name ever.
I think just at Root Night, everybody who came in and Jim and everybody who comes in and takes their time and spends, even if it's just 20 minutes or half an hour or just listens to the podcast afterwards. It's definitely something we look forward
Large Banana wants to color in my wallpaper.
Yeah. Well, we got.
Bear
And he
in mind,
spells
I
color,
didn't pick this.
and he must be somebody that's not American because he spells color with a U. So he's definitely not American because no Americans spell it with a U. So he's probably
Yeah, I don't get that. Where everybody here in the UK spells it with a U.
right. In Canada, I think they spell it with a U, don't they?
Hmm.
Yeah, screw it. So, and hey, look at that. Ronald's ordering an S20 matte red body with matte black. Yeah, dude. Especially if you mix the matte I have on my last
Hey,
one.
if you're doing that on Extreme Skins, use the link. You'll get 15% off.
Yeah, and like I said, I have the light blue.
It's not down there.
Module, the light blue module with the gray body. It's really great. If you mix and match, it's really really cool. It's really they have aluminium, not
aluminium. Yeah,
Alum-
it's aluminium.
No, it's not. You're wrong.
No,
You're wrong.
I'm not.
Yeah, you are. It's aluminum.
No. I'm not going to argue with a guy that lives in a country that calls football when you play it with your hands. So, I'm just not going to argue with you.
There's kicks. You kick field goals and stuff like kickoffs.
No,
there's some
it's not
footwork.
football. It's not football. It's hand egg. Because it's an egg. You use your hands.
It's not even an egg. What eggs they have like points?
Hand egg. Don't care. Hand egg. It's not football. It's not play with your feet.
Okay, so
we just start a whole other show off with this conversation.
Yeah. So please, I love that's great. Root night, please, guys, also start seeing the harbor. So, but the ball is round. So yeah, it's a football, but yeah, it's got points in the end. Who knew, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, please
whatever it is, sport is the dog's bollocks.
So next week, 3:00 Central. Whatever time it is in your neck of the woods, please do us a favor, Joe. I think you're going to enjoy it, and it will have. If you have questions for Josh and you want to ask him, we'll try to get those. I think if we have questions, it's a little easier to get those interjected. Mm-hmm. We can kind of talk about it. And then let the comments just organically happen. But yeah, TK made a comment about a moderator. Who knows? Maybe we'll need to do that if somebody can help out with that.
You can. I mod Juan and Andrews and Zach's channels. So it is easier when you've got somebody in there doing all the bits and bobs, but when we're trying to read the comments and stuff, we'll try and get to everyone if we can, like as much as we can, but we just don't want to. I don't know, it's hard to do.
So yeah, we'll talk about that, and we got some volunteers, and let's talk about that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, next week we're going to have a great show. We're going to actually have the YouTube feed going. Hopefully, Josh will be on. It'll be a great show. Please tune in, and if not, listen to the podcast afterwards. And then also, if you haven't, make sure you go on to. I'm going to rebrand it, but we're trying to get affiliate for the Twitch stream. I guess we're close. We just need 50. I think we're at like 38. So if you know some people who want to subscribe to Twitch stream,
subscribers,
right?
Let's do clickbait. Let's use that. That works.
Yeah. So we'll take care of it, and but we really enjoy bringing the show to you. Like I put, please listen, please give feedback, please have ideas, be engaged.
Yeah. If you want to listen to past shows, they're all on Google Podcast, Apple. We never mentioned this in the show, and Spotify.
Right, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts,
and after next week, as of right now, we have no current plans to host with anybody else. So if anybody in the chat, TK, Aditya, Dave, anybody wants to come on, let us know. Reach out, and we'll be happy to have one of you guys on the show.
Yeah, I think the reason why it's on podcast, Dave, is because I actually found a way to get it on there. So
yeah, this show's everywhere.
Yeah, so just give it a listen and give it a sub. And if you know somebody who may be interested in listening to our banter and enjoys just lightweight talking about it and comedy and fun and everything like that,
and a British saying, the show is the dog's bollocks.
The show is the dog's box. Is that the balls?
The dog's bollocks. The show is the dog's bollocks.
What's the bollocks?
That's a good thing. It's the balls.
Yeah, that's what I thought so.
I'd say the dog's bollocks is a reference to it being epic.
It's good. Yeah, but how do the dog's balls? Okay, I don't get it.
I don't know how that became a thing, but it's the dog's bollocks.
There you go. Or the badger's nadgers.
No.
Is that, I don't know.
Not here, but
I don't know. At least it rhymes and it sounds cool, so that's a plus. So, anyways, we're here next week, 3:00 Central Standard Time. I will hopefully
9 p.m. BST.
Yeah, and I will also get the show uploaded so that way people can listen to it online, listen to the other shows too, and then eventually we'll kind of figure it out. But please, I really appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, I'm Sam. Matt's on. Anything else you want to cover before we sign off?
Large Banana lives in England.
He lives in England. It's going to be awesome.
Badgers Nadgers is a thing.
Yeah.
Whereabouts? I'm curious. Sorry, I know we're ending the show. You can just listen. Ever. You can just edit this last bit out before you post it. I want to know where he's from. Yes, I know, but you can drive 20 minutes from here and Sussex. See? And you can drive 20 minutes from here and it's like a completely different version of English.
I know, it's weird. Like, it's a whole
the whole country speaks a different version of English, and there's different words for different meanings in different parts. Like, are you all right, my cock? Is somebody saying hello up north, a bit further up north from here. I think it's like Blackburn kind of area. Are you all right, my cock? That's more like Blackburn, a bit up there. And then here where I live, it's you're right, my duck. That's the thing. So it is. And then if you ask for a chip cob in other parts of England, they have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so what we need to do is the next show.
So honestly,
we need to have just weird. Like breaking all this stuff down, the lingo and the differences.
Exactly.
Yeah, we'll
never go to London and ask for a bean mix because they look at you like speaking French.
Okay.
Even though it's English, it's like that's how weird and fucking stupid the language is in this country.
Well, we have to have a whole show about that. That's gonna be cool. So maybe it's not a tech show since we're not tech. We'll
break it down England edition. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do it.
That'll be a 2-hour show.
I just spilled. Oh shit! My wife's gonna kill me. I just spilled some of my drink on her desk. Oh, she's gonna kill me. Okay.
Is she still? If she's you shouldn't. If you wanted to get away with that, you shouldn't have said it because she's in the.
No, she's over there.
Oh, she's not in it anymore.
No.
Now she just saw you do it.
Right. So
now she can throw something at you.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So on that note, we will go ahead and sign off for the rest of the day. Please do us a favor. Ron's got the order placed. Good job, sir. We really appreciate it, and I know the Extreme Skins team really appreciates that. You'll be
they do. They genuinely do. They
pleasantly surprised.
They do speak to me on Twitterland.
Yeah.
DMs. And no, they really do appreciate us and all of you guys looking at the website, spreading some words and buying stuff off their website. They really do appreciate it.
All right. So from Matt, this is Sam. We're going to sign off for the rest of it. Please tune in next week, 3:00. Josh Vergara. Great time. And we love you guys and take care. Have a good, safe week. And we'll see you next Sunday and we'll do it all over again. Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Ta-ra.